the Whisky Mini Series on WhiskyWhistle.
Hey everybody, why don't you come with me to the Scottish Highlands? It's going to be a blast.
Hey, my whiskey people, Mark here from WhiskyWhistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you the WhiskyWhistle Whisky Mini Series. Haha! It's going to be great. We're going to crack these open. We're going to pour them in the glasses. And we're going to check them out one by one. I've never tried any of these before. We'll compare them, we'll contrast them, and then we'll pick the winner. A quick shout out to two of my most active Patreon patrons, Brian Hunter. Hey Brian, and Graham Young. Hello Graham. Thank you so much for all your help. Really appreciate that. Folks, check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. Check it out, the WhiskyWhistle crew. We'll see you there. All right, so let's get into this. These are all single malts from all over the world. We have one from the Netherlands called Millstone. Hey Fred, check that out. Then we have a single malt Scotch whiskey from Cadenhead, the independent bottlers, distilled at Glen, and it's 13 years old. That's probably the oldest of the bunch. We also have Glenallachie, a single malt Scotch whiskey. This one is 10 years old and cask strength. Then we have a Canadian single malt, Shelter Point Classic. This one's 59%. I guess that's pretty much cask strength. Next up is an English single malt Scotch whiskey from Cotswolds. Very interesting. This one is non-chill filtered. Never tried that before. Another Scotch whiskey is next. This one is from Wolfburn Distillery, one of the newer distilleries. And this one's called Morven. Hi Morven, you're handsome. And the last one is another English single malt. This one is from the English single malt whiskey company called Smokey, non-chill filtered. I believe these are all 46% and up. A few of them are cask strength. I'll try not to let that influence my decision on which one I like best, but let's get these poured. We're just going to pour little samples of each. Maybe half, maybe a little bit less than half. So we've got Millstone. Okay, that's Millstone. Next up, Glen from Cadenhead. Now, I've reviewed a few Glen. I have not reviewed this one. It's quite a heady pour, actually. Have you tried Glen? Which have you liked? I have a couple of reviews. I've got the 12 and the 18. All right, next up is the Glenallachie. This is aged 10 years. It's cask strength. There. I think I went a little bit heavy with the Glen. Should I pour some back? Nah. Okay, then Shelter Point. All right. 59%. Nice tall bottle. There. Well, hopefully, give or take, they'll all be about the same amount. I might have gone a bit light with the Glenallachie. I think I did. Let's rectify that. There. Okay, next up is Cotswolds. This is a favorite of a buddy of mine, Vin. Hi, Vin. 46% ABV, non-chill filtered. These are all non-chill filtered. So that's Cotswolds. I'm very excited about the next one. I'm excited about all of these, but really interesting to try such a new distillery. In fact, these are all really new distilleries starting from here. So these are all probably in the ballpark 5 years plus or minus of each other. Okay, Wolfburn Morven. Everybody say hi, Morven. Quite pale. I think that should be good. Is that good? I think so. Last but not least, the English single malt whiskey, Smokey. Now, Morven is supposed to be a little bit smoky, so I left that towards the end so as not to influence anything else. Okay, so get that poured. That's the wrong glass. Okay. Where'd that come from? Got a big stash of glasses here. That's where. That's too much. Oh no. Oh, careful. Okay, that's better. Okay, good. So they're all poured. Now, I know very little about any of these. Age-wise, unless it says it on the label, no way for me to judge how old that might be. So I'll just call it like I see it as far as the smell and the taste. I think we'll check out the color very briefly of these. You can kind of see which ones are really light, which ones are dark. Obviously, this Millstone with its Oloroso sherry is nice and dark, but quite dark. This 13-year-old Glenallachie, however, very light. That's absolutely natural in color. Again, pretty sure these are all natural in color. Glenallachie is next. That's about a medium kind of a color, your regular standard whiskey color. Then we have Shelter Point. It's slightly lighter than the Glenallachie, right? And then Cotswolds, which looks about the same. Maybe somewhere between the two, or very close to Glenallachie. Next is Morven from Wolfburn. Fairly light, not quite as light as the Glenallachie. And last but not least, the English single malt whiskey. And again, roughly about the same lightness. Now, does the color of the whiskey really tell you anything? Not a whole lot. It might tell you a little bit of something if we know it's natural and we know how many years it's been aged. But oftentimes it's really down to how active the casks are and whether or not it has been tampered with by the producer. All of these are absolutely natural in color. They're all unchill filtered, and I'm really, really excited about this. So let's just get into this, shall we? All right, Millstone from the Netherlands. Very different. Okay. This reminds me somewhat of the single malt from Hungary, Begkisi. It's got that something other kind of a scent to it. A little bit like sour pears. Asian pears. Okay, that's just my first smell. Let's look at the Cadenhead's Glenallachie. Very fresh. But also quite unusual. Glenallachie, really excited about that. Maybe I should have done a separate review for that, but I thought, let's just get this all at once. I left a few that I'll do some other time, but now that has a very familiar nose to it. And it smells a little bit older than 10 years. And it does not smell like it is cask strength, which it isn't. It's 46%. Shelter Point. Not a bad smell for Shelter Point. A very familiar aroma. Okay, and Cotswolds, first little whiff. That's quite nice as well. Fairly nicely matured. Okay, the peaty ones. Wolfburn Morven. A little young, but it smells pretty nice. And yes, a hint of peat there. That is like 20 ppm-ish. And lastly, the English single malt whiskey. A little bit less peat in the ballpark though. And a slightly more mature spirit than that Wolfburn, I think. At least that's what my nose is telling me. Okay, now I just so happen to have a whole bunch of challenge coins, aka whiskey hats. So we're going to use some of these. I have a no-nonsense whiskey one, which I'll put right there. Then I've got a few from Aquavite from Roy. That's number 146. I think that was the first one I got. And Evangelist, I guess that's what he is. Am I an evangelist? I don't know. I'm certainly not about converting people, but I do try to change your mind. Looks like I'm number 146. Hey, cool. And then I've got a new version 146. So I think that's the order they came in. Okay. Now I also have a few new challenge coins which I'll share with you. And these are from the Scotch 4 Dummies. Not the Scotch Test Dummies. I'll get some of theirs soon too, I hope. I'll work on that. And I'll contribute if need be, of course. But Scotch 4 Dummies got in touch and wanted my address, and they sent me these 4. So number 45, I guess that's the number that I am, and actually almost aligns with my birthday next year. So you're a year early, guys. Sorry. So I've got I Smell Marzipan there. We have Scotch for Dummies second fill. Oh, Vintage Collection Scotch Horror 100% neat. Can I say horror? Maybe I mean hoarfrost, okay? Then we have Burnt Toast and In My Wheelhouse. So nice color. Now I want to show you something. This is quite interesting. So you got these things here. And everybody likes to put little Easter eggs in their challenge coins. So I've taken the challenge and I'm going to show that to you. I figured it out. Yep, I figured it out, you guys. Unsolicited. I did not ask for help. But look at that. Can you see? It makes the number 4, which is one of their logos for the channel. Very cool. Anyway, I just need 3 of those, so we'll use the top 3. Cover all those up. Challenge coins. WhiskyWhistle challenge coins still coming soon. Hopefully very soon. I'm a year late. I'm sorry. I moved to Canada. The expense was ridiculous. Okay. Now, why would you want to cover your whiskey? It's one way to help you gauge, first of all, the nose. The fumes, the scents will build up in the glass, and then you can get maybe a little bit better of a scent. Also, if you're taking a nice slow stroll through your whiskey, putting a cover on it will slow down the evaporation and prevent things like the haze developing in unchill filtered whiskey because you're keeping the whiskey at 46%. Anyway, food for thought. If the alcohol is evaporating, then the percentage is going to go down. It seems like when it hits around 43, things get a bit cloudy for unchill filtered single malt whiskey. Anyway, so those 2 reasons, very good reasons. Also, they're great talking pieces, so you can share with your friends all of your favorite whiskey channels, except mine, because I don't have mine out yet, but I will. And you can help me by joining Patreon. Again, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. I said it, and I'll say it one more time at the end of the show, just so you know. All right, so let's get through that. Now, is it fair to put the sherry first? You know, I think it is, because it's very different. So that'll give me at least a unique flavor to kick things off. All right. So I'm going to just lean over here first so I can just give that a whiff. The more you cap it, the more you get some nice sherry notes coming through. This says here it's aged in Solera sherry casks. And that's very cool because those are the very, very pricey ones. And this one happens to be grain milled by traditional Dutch mills. Hence the name Millstone. So they mill it. I wonder if they malt it as well. Okay, so Millstone. Now I'm getting that raisiny dried fruit note. At first it was very much a sour, overripe sour fruit, tree fruit kind of event. And now we're hitting into those raisins and dried fruits. More of a currant, actually. Let's check out the palate. Cheers. Wow. It basically has every known variety of fruit all at once. Very long finish. Okay, for Millstone, the first taste, I'm going to record this just so that I keep things straight. Millstone. First nose, 5 out of 10. Second nose, 7 out of 10. First taste, 8 out of 10. Yes, it's very nice. I really like it. Very different, very other, unusual, unique, well-aged, great casks. Holy cats, ridiculously great casks. Okay, so that's Millstone. Okay, let's get on to, where are we? Glenallachie, 13. Okay, so this Glenallachie, which was clearly done in refill bourbon. Very astringent nose. Of course, it's cask strength. It's fresh, a little bit of underripe apple on the tree. Interesting because I get the apple on the 12 and 18-year-old standard Glenallachie bottlings. Singleton. All right, the taste. Cheers. I'm sure that's bourbon. Very dry. Very sour. Well, that's surprising. Of course, I'll have to add water to that to bring it down to this level. Okay, Ord. First nose, 6. Second nose, 5. First taste, 6. I'll come back to that one more time and then I'll add a bit of water. Let's get on to the Glenallachie. Very typical nose. I believe that's a Speyside. Yeah, Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. Glad my memory works this late at night. It's like a slightly fruity, slightly baking spice, vanilla type of a Speyside with a little bit of cooked apple, tiny bit of hay, but such a light, soft nose given that it's 40. Oh no, this is 54.8%. That's right, it's cask strength. What am I saying? So unusually soft nose. Oh yeah, we're going to taste it, right? Another very dry and yet fruity baking spices, baked goods, pardon me. Lots of ginger in the finish. The flavor carries a little while. First nose was good. It was 8. My second nose waned a bit. That was a 7. And the palate is going to get a 7. That's Glenallachie. Okay, Shelter Point. That's the guy there. Tons of golden hay and grasses. And it has a biscuity type of sweetness. Not much in the way of fruit here. But I do get some baking spices, cardamom, mace, cinnamony mix with a bit of sweet cocoa. The taste. Slightly astringent and dry, but quite flavorful too. Shelter. First nose, 7. Second nose, 7. Palate. Might be. We'll go with 7 for the first one. Interestingly, that so far that Millstone really wowed me on the palate. Cool. I think second place is actually Glenallachie, and then third Shelter Point, and last is Glen Ord. Bizarre, because I really like Glen Ord. But you know, not every single example from a distillery will be exactly to your liking, like the ones you do like. All right, Cotswolds. I'm really excited to try this one. That's that one there. Reminds me of a very young Glenfiddich. Set that back there. Very pretty label too. I quite like it. A decent nose. Baking spices, a little bit of fruit. Plum. Plum and fruit blossoms on the palate. And yes, I know this. Like orange blossoms. And those you can eat. And I have. By the way, that's one thing you really should work on, is breaking out of your typical diet, trying different spices, trying other fruits, trying unusual greens. That might build your repertoire of flavor memories. Do some baking. Try it. Okay, Morven is next. A little bit excited about this one. Very excited, actually. Very, very excited. These are all very exciting for me. Okay, Morven. Scratch my nose. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, about 20%. 20 ppm, pardon me. But quite a young spirit, and the color is quite light too, so they've really kind of just gone with maybe like a refill if they have them. They may not. That might be actually be first fill bourbon, or they could have gotten a refill bourbon from somewhere else. Surprisingly gentle. A nice vehicle for that peat. Well, it's good. Morven. I do like you. First nose. 7. Second nose. 7. First palate. 7. It's in the mix. All right, the last one, that is the English Whiskey Company Smokey non-chill filtered. Oh, sorry, pardon me, 43%. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Okay, D. Stott, the master distiller. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Get that extra 3% in there. Okay. Little tiny whiff of the nose. Slightly less peat. A little bit more fruit, but some of that fruit is a little bit on the sour side, a little bit overripe. But some interesting sweetness develops here. Hint of ginger. Okay, the palate. Cheers again. Wood smoke. Peat. A little bit of sugar. A little bit of juicy fruit gum. Nose. First nose was a 6. Second nose was a 6. And the first palate, I'm going to go with a 5. So far, that's my least favorite, that English Whiskey Company. Sorry, the English Single Malt Whiskey. Norfolk, England. Norfolk, however you say it. Okay. All right, so that was the first round. Quick little summary. The table leader for the Whisky Mini Series, number 1. So far, that's Millstone. Is it Millstone? So 1520. Glenallachie, 612, 5 is 17. Glenallachie, oh, I guess actually Glenallachie may actually be the leader right now. 7, 7, 14, 22. Shelter Point, 21, okay. Morven, 21. English is 6, 6, 12, 5, 17. Another quick taste. Whoa. What kind of casks did they find? Really, really nice. Freddie, you got to get that. All right, Ord. It's recovered. First of all, Millstone, second taste. Nine out of 10. Oh yeah. Glenallachie, second taste. Seven out of 10. Glenallachie. Little palate cleanser. All right, hang on. It's so tough, these minis, because you don't get the full picture when the air oxidizes the bottle. You know, let's say you've had 2 ounces from it, so the bottle now contains, let's say, 23 ounces. And something happens. It just seems to really bring the flavors to the forefront, smoothen some of the roughness. But with these minis, you really don't get that oxidation element. This is kind of why I'd like to leave them in the glass a little bit, even though that's really slowing things down here, but we have to give things a fair chance. Okay, Glenallachie, the second palette, pardon me. Nothing really changed. 7 for that one. Shelter Point. In the running. The nose is getting a bit buttery. It's a little bit sharp when you get your nose right in there, so take care. Still very nice. Not much changed. So we'll give that a palate of 7 again. And Morven. Hi, Morven. Oh, my mouth is just so hot. Dry. Okay, let's do it. Wolfburn Morven. The nose has quietened down some. The palate. Interesting and fresh. That hint of peat. Something like clarets. Gum in there. It's going to stay a 7 though. Okay. The English single malt whiskey. Have you improved? It's done nicely with water. Sorry, no water, with air. So, English, the second palate, let's go with a 6. All right. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to all of them. A lot of water to the cask strength ones. So let's get these off. And I think I'll just leave them off now. Wait a minute. You gotta do that, right? Let's go to Vegas. All right, so tiny bit of water in Millstone. A good amount of water in Glenallachie. And a fair bit of water in Glenallachie. And a fair bit amount of water in Shelter Point. Cotswolds, a little bit. Morven, that was 46%, right? Yes. So, a little bit. Did you think I forgot about you? And lastly, the English single malt whiskey, 43%. That just needs a tiny dash. There. So, cool stuff. While we're waiting, please do check out that link in the description for the WhiskyWhistle Highland Malt Expedition. A trip to Scotland. You can come along with me November 10th to 18th, 2019, in case you're watching in the future. And we're going to be going to 16 distilleries. If all goes well, if all goes according to plan. And we're going to start with Auchentoshan, as I mentioned. Day 2, we are going to check out Deanston Distillery and Edderdour. We're going to start off with a real bang. Auchentoshan, that's actually a lowland whiskey, but checking that out in the town of Glasgow. Cool. Anyway, stay tuned for more about that. Again, check that description out. Click the link for the tour, and you just have to enter your email to get the itinerary, the full itinerary for you, which looks like this. Okay, 10 pages, all the info. Okay, I think these are pretty much ready to go. With water, this has really gone from being something a little bit different to becoming something very familiar. But, you know, whatever age that is, this really comes off as like 15 years in Oloroso sherry. Walnut husks, beautiful fruits, including some apricots. Very nice. Glen. A little bit of improvement on the nose, but we're not going to check the nose now. So, Millstone. The nose with water. 8 out of 10. Palate with water. 9 out of 10. I really like it. Oh, man. Glenallachie. Water. I said I wasn't going to, but I think I have to. Just nothing. I mean, it's not bad, but there's just nothing there. Okay. Water nose. 5. Palate with water. Well, it seems to have regressed. I had really high hopes for that one, and I think it's going to end up being the end. I don't know. The loser. Let's see. Okay, Glenallachie with a bit of water. Even more of a biscuity nose here now. Water. Nose. Back to 8. Palate. Mm-hmm. 7 for the palate for Glenallachie with water. Shelter point. Same attractive nose. I need some water. Ooh. Cheers. Seven for nose with water. Palate with water gets a 6. It's just sucked all of them, everything out of my mouth. Cotswolds. Some hay. A little bit of nice fruit. It's nice. A 7 for the nose, the palate. Well, that is going to go down 1 because it kind of reminds me of the dentist gel they put in your mouth. It's okay, it's nice, but just a little odd. Well, that one didn't do very well with water, and that happens sometimes. Okay, Morven. With water, the peat really disappears. So water, the nose, is a 6. No, I don't like that very much. And the palate, also is getting downgraded to a 6. Okay, last but not least, this one has really come into itself here with water. Water nose. Let's go up to an 8. The palate, relatively recovered. We'll go with a 7 there. Okay, very good. Finish-wise, this Millstone has the longest finish. Oh, it's just so long. The others are all kind of in the ballpark, medium-ish finish. Sometimes it's shorter than medium, with very minimal flavors and just general dryness or astringency left in my mouth. Okay, so looking at the numbers, Millstone gets a total score of 46. Glenallachie, combined score of 35 for Glenallachie. What a disappointment. I had real high hopes for that. Glenallachie, 44 points. Shelter Point, 41. Cotswolds gets a combined score of 40. And Wolfburn Morven. Morven also gets a combined score of 40. And English single malt whiskey. The English single malt whiskey gets a score of 38. Well, as I expected, folks, the winner is Millstone Dutch Single Malt Whiskey, Oloroso Sherry, grain milled by traditional Dutch mills, aged in Solera sherry casks, 46% ABV, for 40 milliliters for this bottle. So nice, and yet a bit different, which is nice. Very interesting. And the runner-up was Glenallachie with 44 points. It's kind of a quiet performer. It sort of acts as expected for a space side, but it's so soft given that it's cask strength. Well, I can't wait to try the older Glenallachie. And all of these, I'm really looking forward to trying bigger bottles. Shelter Point, I have a bottle. It's not cask strength, and now I have this one. So I'll put those together in a video. I'll probably do a traditional review for each of these with what's left. But yeah, this is just beautiful. And I think if you can find that, give it a try. Because it's going to change your perception of what single malt whiskey tastes like. It's got that unusual apricot kernel-esque flavor, which I notice in a lot of other European single malts. Hope you enjoyed that. So that was the Whisky Mini Series. We compared 7 whiskeys. Millstone Oloroso Sherry was the winner, with Glenallachie, the runner-up. So there's the 2 performers of the day. The others were all very good, but likely it's age. So this one, well, it's under-matured because of the casks, I think. Underaged. So these are the 2 that have the juxtaposition of good aging and very nice casks. Just goes to show you. Really appreciate you joining. Don't forget to subscribe to Whisky Whistle. Click the bell so you're notified of the future Whisky Whistles. That's the best way that you can help me to make a mark, to add my mark, and I'm Mark, by the way, with YouTube. And check in the description. You can come on this tour. You can join me on Patreon. You can join the Winnipeg Whiskey Club if you're in Winnipeg, or even if you're occasionally in Winnipeg for business. Just try to coordinate your time towards the end of the month, because we meet the last Wednesday of each month. All right, anyway, so much going on, and I'm trying to do lots of fun things, and there's going to be lots coming up. Quick shout out to Foodquig, who sent me a massive package full of his blended whiskey. including this one, which is an Island's Infinity bottle. It's got Orkney, Arran, Jura, and the Isle of Mull. So probably Highland Park, maybe the other Scapa. Arran, there's only the Arran malt on there. Jura, there's only Jura. And Mull, there's only Tobermory. But it could be Lachag for a bit of peat. I wonder what he put in there, or both. So anyway, thanks a lot, Foodquig. And I'm going to be sending this to Foodquig in return, along with some other things. The WhiskyWhistle Mark I Blend, Waxy Fruit, 47.2% ABV. A blend of 10 to 25-year-old whiskeys from Highlands, Speyside. Any Speyside in there? Yeah, I guess. A little bit of Islay and other areas. Pretty much all of Scotland is represented in there. I have one left, so if you like that, then leave a comment and tell me that you'd like my blend, and I'll try to send it to you. Take care, everybody. Stay tuned for what's to come. I'm going to be reviewing some very old whiskeys. I'll be reviewing some bourbon whiskeys like this weird, different Legend. Stay tuned. Take care. Goodbye now. Thanks for watching Whiskey Whistle. Be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.